You have a big presentation to make, the biggest stakeholders in your company are about to be in front of you, and you are scared. In today's video, I'm going to be offering you tips on how to boost your confidence before giving that big presentation. Number one is to build something I like to call a brag book. I learned this in a business mastermind 2 years ago. A brag book is essentially a scrapbook. It's all the notes that someone wrote to you saying, you made a change in my life. It's all the laurels that have been given to you, all the times that you won and that you had an accomplishment. Take a look at that list. I like to look at that list in 2 occasions. One, when I'm feeling down, and life always does kick you down. And number 2, right before I have to go in and give a big presentation. And here's why. Your energy walks into the room long before you do. So you really want to make sure that this is an inside out job and that your energy, as you're taking the stand or taking the podium, is exuding the energy of confidence. And some of that comes from all the things that you've already done. You just need a simple reminder, so build a brag book. Number 2, do something that you love. Think about 3 things that you did as a kid that you could just do for hours and the time would just pass. For me, it used to be coloring. Do something that's completely gonna just fill up your cup. Again, this feeds into the energy conversation because you are gonna come off of that feeling accomplished, and that is the energy that you're gonna bring to your presentation. Number 3 is breath work. Pull air from your diaphragm, not necessarily from your lungs, because that's a much more shallow experience. You can notice that when you're pulling air up from your diaphragm to your nose as opposed to just your lungs. Something to think about. I actually have a very steady and committed yoga practice because I'm actively thinking about my breath work when I'm doing that. And I know on the weeks that I haven't done yoga, how I feel and how I show up for this camera is very different than the weeks that I have. I come in more grounded. I come in more ready to take on the world, and it's because I've done that committed practice of breath work. Even if you don't want to do breath work, think about doing box breathing. Breathing in for 4 counts, breathing out for 4 counts. Let me know. Try it out. It sounds a little woo-woo, but I'd love to hear how that works for you. The next tip is preparation. Preparation is your friend. I spent 20 years on television, and I know that so much of those 2 minutes that I spent on the air giving you an hourly update on the markets was really a culmination of all the preparatory work I had done. It's not only a culmination in the breath work, but it's also everything that I've read, everything that I've prepared for that moment, because everything can change on a dime. Especially, I'll give you an example. So I used to cover the markets from the floor of the New York Stock Exchange, and let's say I've already prepared my report, I'm about to go on, and Delta Airlines announces a new merger. While the headline is that Delta Airlines is merging with Company X, it's really also important to provide the context that Delta Airlines has also merged in 1980 with this company and 1999 with this company, to give you context as to what this particular merger is going to do to change the footprint of the company. And that is what I mean by preparation. The other thing that you can do to prepare is to get an accountability buddy. I believe in getting accountability buddies for everything. So get an accountability buddy and give your talk in front of that person. Or you can give it to a mirror. Your eyes are often the best accountability buddy that you can find. Here's the bonus tip. Give your talk to a wall. And here's why. To me, the biggest nightmare is to give a talk to somebody who just doesn't react to anything I'm saying. So if you can deliver your talk to a wall with the same level of energy, because the wall doesn't react, you are going to be just fine when you're giving that talk to a group of people that may or may not be engaged in the topic that you're talking about. But I'm going to give you a tip on how you can be more engaging. But these are just 3 things that you can do in terms of preparation to get ready and get some confidence for that talk. The next tip is to do a power pose. If you've ever seen Amy Cuddy's TED Talk, you know what I'm talking about. Shoulders back, face forward, legs akimbo if you have the ability to stand, hands at your side. It's what Amy Cuddy calls a power pose. Just actually a physiological change in your body when you stand this way, and it's just channeling that confidence that you hope for before you give your presentation. Now, a lot of us are on Zoom right now, so we're sitting down, but you can still think about shoulders back, face forward, neck in line with your spine, and really thinking about pulling air from your diaphragm. But make sure your feet are firmly planted in the ground, and that is still going to establish the power pose. I often hear women say to me, gosh, I don't really like to put myself out there. Well, here's the paradigm shift that's important to make. That's making your talk very you-centric instead of very audience-centric. What you have up here is a gift to your audience. And so if you can really think about the fact that you are educating them, that paradigm shift is going to be critical. The other piece that's really important to think about is the newer the information, the more interestingly the way you present it, the more of a chemical reaction goes off in people's brains. It's actually a chemical called dopamine. And when you put new connections together or you present information in a new way, you actually elicit dopamine in the audience's mind, in their audience's brain. So really think about that. You have a gift to give, and what can you do to really, really jazz up what you're saying? I always say be magic to watch. Get so entrenched in what you're talking about that people can't take their eyes off of you. I like to arrive early before I give any talk. Now that applies whether I'm doing it on Zoom, and that applies on whether or not I'm doing something in person. We're getting back into doing things in person. I love to arrive at least an hour early, imbue the energy of the room, understand where everything is, the microphone, the podium, where my PowerPoint slides are going to be, is everything firing correctly? And then as people start to filter into the room, I'll walk up to them and press the flesh and say, hi, I'm Joya. I'm your keynote speaker today. What brings you to this talk? Or what do you do for a living? I'm so interested. Or what are your pain points that you hope to learn from my talk today? I like to go around and build those allies early so that I have places for my eyes to land when I'm giving a talk, whether it's on Zoom or whether it's in person. So the next time that you are giving a talk and you are lacking in confidence, I'm hoping that these tips are going to be some of the things that you can use to be able to bolster your confidence and go in there and hit it out of the park. Remember, when you open your mouth, as my mentor Les Brown says, when you open your mouth, you tell the world who you are. So why not tell them with all the confidence in the world and armed with these tips today? Hey, I am eager to work with you. I am launching yet another cohort of a public speaking masterclass. This is for a group of 7 corporate women. If you would like to be in that cohort, please write me at info@ladydrinks.com, and I can't wait to work with you. You can also go to my website, joyadas.com, subscribe to my channel below, and I drop videos every single week to help you build that confidence muscle for your public speaking.